Good morning, my Teaserking family. How is everybody doing? I see gold's at 32.34, up $30, having a good day. Sorry about that. So gold was about 32.10 at midnight. It started at 32, remember? So now we're up to 32.34. So having a good day. Silver, no, whatever, 32.36. I have to update the baseball. I haven't had a chance to. I was going to do it this morning. Very busy morning. I found a letter of recommendation I have from a VP at Visteon, which was basically Ford. And since this interview's at Ford, then I said, well, a VP from Visteon, which is Ford, saying how good a worker I am should count double because it's a Ford position with the Ford VP saying, hire Howard. So we'll see what happens. I'm still in the running. I guess, who knows? They take a long time. That's what John doesn't understand. They assume, oh, you got you have an interview, you'll get hired the next day, and it takes maybe up to a month to get hired. Anyway, so gold's going. I think it's done with its little game playing down to 31.20. I would imagine everybody, it was to get out of their derivatives, the shorts. So they had shorted and they got to buy, right? So if they shorted 3,200, they got to buy. So this was the opportunity where it was going down to 31.30. Was like, okay, everybody get out. And so they had to buy. So once you short, you have to buy. You have to finish. You have to finish the derivative. So maybe they made some money, but it's not a lot. Hey, David, good morning. Yeah, OKC came to play, didn't they? That's what I say. Usually it's so confusing now. Usually the home team wins game sevens almost 90% of the time. So I think at the end of the day, both teams had their back against the wall. But you can see in the fourth quarter, the home crowd, the home team usually lifts. The Knicks beat Boston in New York. They couldn't beat them in Boston, game 5. But like when Detroit lost to New York in game 6 at home, it shows you how weak they are. A really good team doesn't lose in front of in a series, the last game, like game 6, I think was for Detroit. A good team wouldn't have lost that, right? That shows you how weak they are. And they didn't win a lot of games anyway. I don't know how they made the playoffs. It's ridiculous. But yeah, OKC is well, see, now that they're getting the experience, they could be tough to beat. And with Cleveland and Boston out, I mean, it shows you what a joke the East is and what a joke the regular season is. You would never have a good team like Cleveland or a Boston. Cleveland won 68 games; they're eliminated. So you got Indiana and the Knicks. It's wide open for OKC. How good's Minnesota? I don't know, but it's wide open for them to just take out Minnesota, and Indiana. The Knicks will have no chance. So you keep that in mind with OKC winning. But yeah, good game. We'll look at that in a minute. I don't think there's a game till tomorrow. We will see. Gold 32.35. So what's happening with the COMEX July 1st? As I said, there was this girl who came on and said, oh, no, it wasn't real. It shouldn't have been leaked. And then Mark McGuire the next day says, yep, July 1st. And Egon, July 1st. Nobody's disputing July 1st. We will have Basel 3. That's why gold's so high. They have to cover when they ask for delivery. Right? So you ask for delivery on the option. We're still doing options, by the way. Now, I don't believe there's any gold left to do options with, to ask for delivery. So if I ask for a delivery, I'm Central Bank of Poland, and I want 5,000 tons on that option you're doing. I don't think they have 5,000 tons to pay me. So that'll make it meaningless to actually do an option on COMEX because you're not going to pay me. And so the prices will go to China, will then start with physical bars. China and Russia, you're going to need physical bars to actually buy and sell. It'll be like eBay. I need the card to buy and sell. And that's what we're looking at here. And that's the point. You need to have, it'll be I have a bar, I want to sell it. What do you give it to me for? And they buy it. That's a free market. That's a real market. That's not what we have. We have COMEX. We have this paper bullshit, price fixing. USA at its best, right? Fucking around everybody. The banks running the government. It's terrible. So that's the thing. We will see, but it should go much higher because now you get the drops. Like what, so let's look at COMEX today. So let's look at about 8.15. Why is the price going from 32.43 down to 32.30 down to 32.23? What is causing that? Is anybody selling one bar of gold? Absolutely not. That is not sales of physical gold. So it's all bullshit. It's just options, as I showed you with Eddie Murphy and Trading Places, where they basically are just doing options. It's not a real price. It's a bullshit price. So that's my point. It's a real bullshit price because of they're not trading. Nobody's selling gold, so therefore that's the problem with it. So keep that in mind. Silver does nothing. Silver's at $32.37. Why is silver going nowhere? The derivatives, of course. All the bullion banks will get their ass kicked if, I believe, gold hits 35 or 36. They'll all go broke because they'll have to cover a bunch of derivatives. I don't know why that's the lucky number that they have to cover. I know most of their derivatives are $22 to $25 an ounce of silver. You ain't never getting that. You'll never come down in the 25s. They're trying, but there's too much buying the other way, making it 32, and even that's way low. I was just talking to a person on LinkedIn, and I said, we're talking gold, and then I said to her, well, do you have any silver? She said, I'm not interested. So silver's gone from 32 to 1,000. That woke her up. I says, gold's going to get to it. As the dollars are worthless, all the dollars, the euro, the British pound, Swiss franc, all those become worthless. And of course, the US dollar, you'll run to gold and silver, but gold's going to be, 20, 30,000 an ounce by then. Most people won't be able to afford it, or will run into silver as real money also to try to get that. So that's what you have to realize. Silver is going to be there, so that's a good thing. So again, it's kept down because the bullion banks will all go out. Anyway, so that's our goal today. Let's go into baseball and basketball, then we'll get back into free trade, back into economics. I keep my eye on eBay just to see what's going on with gold and silver in our cards. Pretty much the same stuff. All right, yesterday, Pittsburgh under 8.5. Well, let me go through the scores, I guess. Paul Skeens, it's a winner. Philly wins 1-0. Skeens gets the loss. He's 3-5 with a 2.44 ERA. So all you can do is really bet under on Skeens. So that one, I had Miami over 8.5, and I really don't know what is going on with Miami. They win 5-1. Cal Quantrill with a 6.37 ERA gives up 1 run to Tampa. Shane Baez with the 5.33 ERA gives up 5 to Miami. So I don't know what's Tampa. They're not hitting. So I lose that over. The Cubbies, I play the Cubbies. They win 6-2. That's a winner. I played the 49ers under 8.5 with Verlander pitching, and they win 3-2, stay under 8.5. I go Arizona over 9, and they win 1-0 over Colorado. I'm sorry, what the hell happened there? Chase Dollander, 2-5 with a 6.28 ERA, holds Arizona with their powerful lineup to 1 run. They win 1-0, so I lose that on the over. I go San Diego under 7.5. Seattle wins 6-1. San Diego's not hitting. Ric Flair goes 5-1 with the 2.65. Brian Will. And Michael King 4-2 with the 2.59. So it was a perfect under, and it comes through. The Dodgers, I had the Dodgers instead of the over, and California sweeps them. What the fuck was that? The Angels win 6-4. They're a terrible team. Maybe they got some players back or something. And the nightcap, I got the Yankees with Max Fried, and they win 8-2. So I win that one. And I win. So I win Pitt. I lose Miami. I win the Cubs. I win the 49ers under. I lose Arizona over. I win San Diego under, and I win the Yankees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2. Ooh, I'm getting the hang of this game. I do lose with Denver yesterday in baskets. I thought, I thought Denver was okay, and that 8.5 points was why, and they win by a lot. But I think there was an injury on Denver. I'm not really factoring in the injuries as I normally would when I'm picking the baskets. So if you know there's an injury and I'm not talking about it, then just ignore my pick. But you understand my theories, and that's what you got to do. All right, today's 5/19. Next Monday's Memorial Day. Holy crap. It's going to be July 1st soon. And we all know what happens July 1st. Basel 3. And I think we finally get silver to go. All right, let's see baseball. First game, 6:40. The Cubs at Miami. Miami's not hitting great. The Cubs hit okay. Cubs are minus 175.9. Ben Brown for the Cubs. This game's in Miami. 3-3 with the 4.75. Ed Cabrera 0-1 with the 5.52. Two good hitting teams. So we're going to go Cubbies over 9. Cincinnati at Pitt. Cincinnati minus 118.8. What is it? 118 crap. Let's call it 120. Nick Lodolo, 3-4 with the 3.42 against Mitch Keller, 1-5 with the 4.15. I don't know what to do with like a Nick Lodolo. He has a good game and then he sucks, and he has a good game and he sucks. 3.42, 4.15. Pitt does not hit. Cincinnati's not hitting. We're going under 8 here. Pitt under 8. The Mets and Boston. Good game. The Mets minus 130.9. Cody Senga 4-2 with a 102 against Hunter Dobbins 2-1 with a 3.90. Boston, what did they do yesterday? I had them over 9.5, and it was them in Atlanta were scoring a lot. And again, it's in Boston. This game's in Boston. The Mets can hit, but here's where you got to be careful. This Cody Senga got a 102 ERA, so even if he goes, let's say 7 innings, they're not going to score much. I'm going to have to go under here, under 9. That's under 100. Dobbins too. Normally they've been hitting, so this could be a high-scoring game. So you got to be careful. The key is the 102 pitcher. But when a team's hot, they still score. So be careful here. I'm not playing the game. I don't know how the cold is. Is it cold here? I have no idea. I haven't been outside. I don't go outside till after class. And I was busy. I did my unemployment today, and then I was talking to somebody wants to hire me, and I was talking to Ford. And I was going to take Alyssa, but she called me just before I was leaving to say, you don't have to take me. Translation, I found some other sucker to take me. And maybe we'll get together later. I don't hold my breath with her. Anyway, I haven't heard from Daria. She's either scared of she's getting the operation on her sore that she's got under her nose, I think. That's the 24th. So I think it's Thursday. And sometimes she gets really scared and depressed about it, doesn't talk. Or sometimes she goes to the Dasha. I love how they're Russian. So it's like their cottage, and they don't have internet there. So she's doing one of two things. So I'm not as worried as I used to be. Plus, handling the stoic much better, realizing I can only control myself. I can't control her. I'm not going to try. I'm not really worried about her. I don't think she's with anybody else. So I just hope she's okay. Um, it's fine. I don't know. Maybe I need to dust my computer because I really uh, later on I went to the pool, even though it wasn't open. The little pool was open, so I did a little workout there. The hot tub was closed, and they had the main pool where I go. The lap pool was closed for synchronized swimming. And I'm kind of pissed going, look, I'm paying to use the pool. You have a 2-day synchronized swimming thing? Who the fuck? And yet there was 8, 10 teams of girls there doing synchronized swimming. What is that from? Yeah, my daughter wants to synchronize. What good is that going to do you? I can see doing laps and you're racing. Synchronized swimming. And my bitch is just do it half a day. Why is it all day? I can't use the pool all day. Why don't you do 4 or 5 hours? How long do you need it? So that kind of pisses me off too. But I'm fine. The cold, like I said, once I got outside and got in the pool, I took a sauna, and I'm fine. I haven't sneezed, no bloody nose today. At least it got me to wash my linens because I did get blood on them, but it looks like they got off, and that's it. So, all right, Houston at Tampa. Tampa is not hitting. Houston, I don't know. It's all up to Altuve. Tampa 140-9. Colton Gordon 0-0 with a 6.23. Ryan Peapot 2-5 with a 3.93. Colton Gordon, Houston, Tampa. Tampa's got 4 hitters. Houston's got 5 hitters that don't always show up. I'm beginning to double think my thing. I think I have to do that. Maybe home and away. I can't really do it home and away because you just see the batting average. It doesn't tell you home and away batting average. I'm really just going through the box score saying, oh, this guy hits 300 and 280 and 300 and 280 and 270. Okay, so I got 5 guys who can hit. Oh, this guy's hitting 200, 160, 140. They can hit. So that's kind of what my theory is. I'm not really looking at home and away, but I do know it's a big advantage at home. You're used to the ballpark. So Houston, Tampa, both can hit. They should hit here, but they're just not. Tampa did not hit against Miami. I don't know. Let's take Tampa, but I wouldn't bet 2 cents on it. Cleveland, Minnesota minus 145, 7.5. Logan Allen 2-2 with a 3.70, and Bailey over 4-1 with a 3.72. So a pretty identical ERA. Bailey over 4-1, and he's at home. Cleveland's always a pretty good team. Over under 7.5 is too low. I'm going to take Minnesota, but I don't love that one either. Baltimore, Milwaukee. Milwaukee's the better team. Baltimore fires their manager. I'm not sure it's his fault. I think the GM should get fired for trading all the guys, Corbin Burns and those guys. And then you're bringing up all these young guys. Maybe they can hit, maybe they can't. That's the screwy part about baseball. Football, you pretty much know. You can see them in college. And you know what you're getting, like in Dylan Gabriel. I'm not sure what you're getting in the lineman, but you know what you're getting in quarterback, running back. I would say Gentry, you pretty much know what you're getting, right? He's a star already. Eli, hi, Eli. They run short every year for silver manufacturer. Yeah, but you got to realize it's priced by COMEX, which is price fixing. That's why it's not running. They've been running short for 5 years. They're 30,000 tons short on Comex. July 1st, Basel III comes in, and they're going to have to take delivery on it. So if I want delivery, if I'm the Chinese and I want delivery on that silver option you sold and I bought, you got to pay it to me. But you don't have to pay it now. But July 1st, you're going to have T+1 to pay me. And that's when the barrage opens up because they don't have any silver to pay me. Then it goes to China, where China will set the price, a physical price. Oh, you want to sell your silver? I need a bar. Or gold, I need a bar or a coin. And that's where we get a real price because that's how a market is. It's I sell it to you and you buy it. Right? I sell you the Hank Aaron card, you buy it, then we know what the price is. Now there's many markets. I could have 20 1968 Hank Aaron's PSA 9, and I might get 20 different prices because card collecting and that kind of auction will vary. It's not like Coke on the shelf goes for $3.50 in every Coke, so there's one market. The grocery store has one market, although with competitors. So if you don't want Coke, you buy 7-Up, you buy Squirt, you buy Faygo, you buy A&W. You could buy other ones that are different prices. In silver, you're dealing with paper options, which are bullshit. So this $32 is a joke. But as I was telling somebody at the club, please do not sell your gold for silver because gold's gonna hit the moon. Gold's gonna be $30,000-$40,000 an ounce. You don't want to be selling that for $1,000 silver. Maybe 1 or 2 ounces you sell to get your silver, but that's it. That's all you want to do. But don't start selling your gold to buy silver. Be happy you got your gold. That's the gold. Get out of dollars, get into gold. Well, thank you, Eli. Yeah. Yeah, I know my shit. That's for sure. But welcome. Please feel free to comment and I will answer them. It's funny. Mark McGuire now has this phone that rings like the guy's asking a question. And I'm like, come on, Mark, you're wasting time with the phone. It rings and the guy talks and you're like, okay, Mark, seriously? Just do what I do. Do it live and answer the questions. All right. So we had Minnesota. Okay, so we're at Baltimore, Milwaukee. Milwaukee minus 120 and 9 at Milwaukee. Dean Kremer, 3-5 with a 5.36. This is why the manager got fired. Why are you pitching a guy with a 5.36? And if he's all you got, then you got to fire the GM, not the manager. He can't do anything. He doesn't have any options. Quinn Priester, 1-2 with the 4.59. So this has got to go over. We'll go Milwaukee over 9. We'll go 2. And this will be our first bet. 2 terrible pitchers, a 5.3 and a 4.5. Can Milwaukee hit? Baltimore's got 3 hitters. Milwaukee's got, they're National League. They got 5. Well, you never know. It's not a huge bet, but it's good. Seattle at the White Sox. Seattle's been red hot. They just smoked San Diego, who's a very good team. 26-19. Minus 210 and 8 today in Chicago. Luis Castillo, 3-3 at the 3.65 against Davis Martin, 2-4 with the 3.65. Both the 3.65s. 8. I'm going under 8. I would say that this is the White Sox can't hit. Seattle doesn't hit a lot. They beat San Diego 6-1 yesterday, but I don't know. Davis Martin. Chicago's weak bullpen. Seattle's a very good team. 26-19. Detroit. St. Louis minus 160 and 8. Kenter Monterio 1-1 with the 4.68. He's the worst pitcher on the Tigers. He's terrible. Sonny Gray 4-1 with the 450. St. Louis is a big favorite because Detroit can hit, so I'm confused there, but they will hit the shit out of Sonny Gray. I'm going to go over 8. And I always regret it. Detroit over 8. I always regret it because I know they can hit. And then yesterday, it was a 3-2 game or something, and you're like scratching your head, like, where's all the hitting? It just shows you. It's like the Lions. When they play a bad team, they look so much better. And then when they play a good team, Baltimore beat them like 38-0, but then it was an excuse. Well, it's one bad game. It doesn't count. I love the radio idiots here. So in this situation, Detroit looks good, but they play a team like Toronto who had pretty good pitching and they didn't show up. I think it was 3-2 and 2-1 or something like. Yeah, it was 2-1 on Saturday, 3-2 yesterday, and the worst umping call I've ever seen. The ball on Saturday, home run, hits the netting next to the foul pole in right field, which is fair. The ball hits it, and they call it foul, and you're like, how could it be? It can't ricochet. It's not like it hit something in foul territory and came back in fair because the netting's in front, and it would have hit the netting from behind, and you're like, what the fuck is this umpire? Is this game fixed? But Toronto ended up winning anyway. But yeah, I'm worried about fixed games, especially in baseball and in basketball. Eli, does the deal with Saudi help U.S. debt and economy in any way? Is Saudi betting on the U.S. to come out good of the dollar mess? Is the world picking sides? Well, let's start with the first one. Does the deal with Saudi help the U.S. debt? Well, 37 trillion isn't going anywhere. It's just a business deal. We're selling basically the defense contractors, so it's going to help them. Does that help the debt? No, not really, because it'll go into taxes, but you got to realize, so let's say it props up our income. Our deficit's 2 or 3 trillion a year. What did we do? A $600 billion deal, which is probably over several years. So no, I don't see the 37 trillion. The only way out of the 37 trillion is gold. That's the only way. You cannot print your way out of it. You cannot tariff your way out of it. Tariffs is like raising taxes. You think you'll get more revenue if you raise taxes, and you get less, because anybody who has money goes to offshore accounts and goes to other countries, and then they don't pay the tax. So that's a big problem. So it'll help the deficit, but not the debt. So in the year where they're $2 or $3 trillion down, it'll cut, a couple $100 billion off of it. But you're still going to you can't pay the debt. The interest on the debt's what's killing you. It's over $1 trillion. So so here's 600 billion, but probably over 4 or 5 years. So what's that really going to do? Then you've got the military budget, which is killing you, because none of the things provide revenue. Well, obviously the debt doesn't provide revenue. The military doesn't provide revenue. If we're the ones buying the goods, you're not selling the military to the Ukraine. You're giving them money, and they're taking the money and buying the weapons with it. I mean, that's the joke of it, right? Ukraine's not paying for the tanks and the aircraft and the missiles and everything. And then you've got Social Security and you got Medicare. Now, maybe they find dead people on Social Security and they can take it off. How much is that? That's not a lot. Or Medicare. Then you have all the government workers. This is why you don't have a large government. With the large government, you can't afford it because government doesn't produce revenue. There's nothing government does. They don't sell a product or goods or a service. So therefore, when you add the Department of Defense or where did Jack Power work? The DO, not the DOD, but the counter terrorist, it's all cost. He doesn't produce revenue. That's the problem with the government. So the bigger you make it, so let's say we're running a pizza place, right? Now let's run an ice cream store. I like ice cream better. So let's say we're running an ice cream store. We get revenue in from the customers, but if we now add 10 more workers, how do we do that? Well, we can raise prices, but then there goes our market because our market's not going to pay more. How do we pay the extra people? You can't. And that's the problem with government. If you add the DOD and you add CTU and you add what's the thing at the airport, TSA, how do you pay for it? And they don't produce revenue. That's why you can't have a large government. And that's why, so what do? They print more money, which makes it worth nothing. So the money is worth nothing. So 37 trillion, we're screwed on anyway. What Saudi did, okay, they're going to buy some defense, which I think's just bullshit anyway. They're going to go to war? They get the Russians backing them. So I don't know. So let's see. Does the deal with Saudi help U.S. debt and economy in any way? Very, 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 very small in the economy and not in the debt. Is Saudi betting on U.S. to come out good of the dollar mess? No, Saudi's playing both sides. They've just made a big deal with China. They're debating about going into BRICS. They're not going into BRICS. I thought they were in BRICS already. So they're kind of playing both sides. And China doesn't care because they need oil. They buy it from them. The U.S. buys very little oil from them. They've killed the petrodollar, so anybody can buy the oil. As you can see, China buying oil is not in U.S. dollars because they don't have U.S. dollars. So there's no way we can come out of the dollar mess unless we somehow find some gold, which we can't find. We don't have 8,000 tons in Fort Knox. That's just a fantasy. That's been emptied a long time ago. If there's any gold in it, it's Chinese. They've sold it to China. So we have no way out. Bitcoin is not a way out. There's nothing we can do. We're broke. Basically, we're a broke country. Is the world picking sides? Well, I think the world's most of the smart people are going to BRICS because they're using gold. That's why gold price is up, and every central bank not in the U.S., Canada, and the U.K. are buying gold because they're holding U.S. dollars and they realize they're worthless. So that's why they're dumping them for gold. So the world's just being analytical, going, oh, well, we want to be on the BRICS team only because they're using gold. BRICS is smart enough. Who's going to trust Russia and China? Nobody. But they trust gold. And that's why you have BRICS. It's a gold-backed trading system. It's been rolled out for China. Russia's rolling it out. July 17th, they have their meeting in Brazil, and it'll be here's gold, But China's already rolled out their gold-backed currency. There is now gold markets, the gold, for COMEX only in China, Russia, and Dubai. They are pricing diamonds and precious metals, physical, not the paper shit we do here. So I don't know if they're picking sides. Part of them hate the U.S. because our CIA kills their people. Our CIA does these coups, and we have tremendous interest rates if you want to borrow U.S. dollars. And I think most people hate us. So I don't know that they're picking sides, but if I was a small African country, I'd be joining BRICS. I'd be doing gold. I'd have my own gold-backed currency. That's what I would do. I know the BRICS and Asian countries are aligning. Well, also, Brazil, and I believe they asked Argentina, they turned down. It was a big mistake. Anybody relying on the U.S. dollar is out of their minds. It's not worth anything. You cannot print it to death and think it's worth something. And it's not like you can change it. Once you've let the genie out of the bottle, as they say, once you printed $150 trillion, that's what it's out. You can never lower inflation because that's what inflation is, inflating the money supply. So therefore, you can never lower it. And so let's say you have $1 million, where are you going to put it? You're going to put it in treasuries where they'll never pay you back because there's 37 trillion in debt? No. Are you going to put it in US dollars that are worthless? I hope not. Are you going to put it in the stock market that's worthless? That we're coming into a huge depression because of these stupid tariffs. So that leaves you gold and silver, or that leads you to BRICS if you're a country, because you want to play with gold. You don't want to play with dollars. So it's very easy. What everybody's doing is they're going, well, we want to be in gold. And who doesn't? And the price of gold is so low, it's wait till it's going to go crazy. So will silver. But BRICS is Asia. It's well, Saudi Arabia, who knows if they'll join, UAE's in, and a few of those Middle Eastern. And then you got Brazil, and I think Venezuela is going to join, and Cuba. So it's Latin America, it's Asia, it's Russia, it's the Middle East. They'll all be in there trading, and nobody wants their dollars. Nobody wants an Indian dollar is worthless. A China dollar is worthless. All their currencies are worthless because none of them are backed by gold. So you don't want any of those currencies, which means you only want gold. And that's where we're at. And thanks to COMEX for keeping the price low, me and you can still buy it because we should never have a chance. It should cost us 30, 40,000 an ounce right now. And we can get it for $3. And all I can say is thank you, God, for letting us. I mean, that's why you run and buy silver at 32. Are you kidding me? I just told somebody that at 32, it's going to 1,000. And she fell off her chair. And I'm like, are you sure? I says, it's a no-brainer because as gold goes to 30,000, what are you going to do? You can't afford it, but so let's say you're in Germany and the euro is going out. Well, we need real money. We need gold and silver, but gold is 30,000 an ounce now because everybody's running into it. Like the Titanic sinking, they all realize we need a lifeboat. And when gold hits 30, then silver looks really appetizing at 400 or 500. I can afford that. I can't afford the 30, or maybe I buy a tenth of an ounce or something. And that's what you're left with, buying tenth of an ounce or quarter ounces of gold when it gets at 20,000. So for $5,000, you get a quarter ounce. Or I can buy a shitload of silver at $300 an ounce. And so that's where the demand will shift into silver because of its price until silver gets too expensive. But keep in mind, gold is the gold standard, and gold is less supply than silver. Not by a lot, but a little. But it won't matter when the whole world needs precious metals because their dollars are worthless. And this is where I laugh at like Trump and the tariffs and this and that. You're still in US dollars. It doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, Saudi, I'm sure, is buying gold. They might not be in BRICS or they might not be with the US. They're just playing both sides. And believe me, he's got a shitload of gold. He seems like a smart guy. And that's what he's going to do. Eli, can they revalue the gold, though? Wouldn't that affect the price on goods? No, it's apples and oranges. Goods are a market. You go to the grocery store, my Canadian Club. So if this is $75, does it matter if they revalue gold? No, this is still $75. The gold price, I don't even know if that changes with the revalue or if the market or if COMEX is controlling it. Either way, it's not close to reality. But why would this be affected by the gold price? This is still, now if the dollar loses more value, that's why you see Coca-Cola was 99 cents for 2 liters. Now I saw 350 or 360 at Kroger's. And you have to go, oh, Coke's raising their price. Oh, and so is Oreos, and so is Fruit Loops, and so is bananas. And it's like, no, it's not. They're not raising prices. That's the inflation. The dollar is worth less because they're printing it because they have to for the debt and the defense and Social Security. They have to print because they don't have it. That's the problem with the deficit. So Trump's he's going to do gold until he realizes there's no gold in Fort Knox. We don't have 8,000 tons. We have zero. It's all Chinese. They sold it to China like a bunch of idiots because they thought gold is a paperweight or something. Like, who's the idiots in charge here? So if that's the problem, you then have to buy gold, and we don't have it. So the deficit's one thing. The way out of the debt is to have gold, and then just let the gold price run to 50,000 an ounce and get enough ounces to pay off 37 trillion. But you're talking 37 trillion. I mean, you cannot, if you don't have gold and mark it up, that's it. And would my Canadian club be worth more or less with a higher gold price? It would be immaterial because the dollar's printed to nothing. The dollar has no value. That's why I show it like this. This is what it's worth. This is worth 1 cent. Just go to the grocery store, put 10 items in your cart, and it's $50. So you tell me what this is worth. This is worth nothing. I saw a lady with the full cart, and I just laughed at her. Going, that's going to cost you $1,000. And she just laughed. Like, I know. What can I do? This is worthless. So, as far as prices, but they can't just raise the price because we are the market and we control the prices, not them. So Coke can go $3.50 for a 2-liter, and we go, fuck you, we're not paying that. And we'll go buy Faygo, or I buy Squirt at $1.99. So Coke, you can't make it for $1.99. You're going to go out of business because nobody's going to pay you. As I say many times, when I go to my barbecue place and I tell the owner, dead serious, I says, if you mark the ribs, the slab of ribs, $45, just close up. You won't have a customer. Right now they're $30, but they were 20 and they kind of climbed to 30. And I said, that's enough anymore. And there'll be nobody here. And he's listened to me. He's kept it at 30. He kind of raised his chicken $1 or $2. But who has a family of 4 and you each get a slab's $120? Oh yeah. Who's got that? So I don't see that really happening. So you got to be careful raising prices. That's why McDonald's is in trouble. It's a $10 meal to get a hamburger and fries and a Coke now. And you take your family, 2 kids and the husband, wife, and 2 kids. Nobody wants to spend $50 at McDonald's. You got to be kidding me. So that's McDonald's is pricing themselves out of the market. If your costs go up and you can't, and you got to keep your prices. So what do you do if, as I say, so if this was $30 and I'm selling it for $50, okay, I make $20 a bottle. But now my costs went up thanks to these stupid tariffs, and I got to pay $60. I can't just make it $85 to buy the bottle when I'm selling it for $50, which means either I try raising the price and nobody's going to buy it, or I go out of business because it's going to cost me $60, but I can only sell it for $50. That's not how you run a business. Your business is my cost plus 20%. And as long as I can sell it higher than my cost, I'm in business. But if I can't, I go out of business. And then you're going to see a lot of companies go out of business. They're going to try to raise their price, but everybody's going to tell them the fuck off. I'm not buying a 2-liter of Coke for $3.50. You to lower the price. So I see sometimes they go 2 for $5. So they're lowering the price to $2.50, which is still a lot more than the $1.59. All that is the inflation. And you do not measure inflation with prices. You measure it by how much money you printed. The value of the money is the inflation. You're inflating the money supply. Why do all these idiots go, oh, it's prices? Well, look, it's 3%. In what world is inflation 3%? You got to go back to 71 when Coke was a dime and now it's $3. In what world is it 3%? That's a 3,000% increase. That's what your inflation number is. And that's just on Coke. A house was I think a house was 25,000 and now it's 500. And a car was 2,500 is now 50,000. I was at the Toyota dealer. So just figure 50,000. And I go, well, it's 2,500 in 1969. That's your inflation, not year over year. Who the fuck says year over year is the way to measure it? And who said it's prices? It's total bullshit. It's not prices. That's when you get fucked by the Keynesians. They like to lie and cheat and do all the stuff because they don't think anybody's smart enough to know what the hell they're doing. Eli. Well, they just, I guess, to revalue the gold, they could if they had any, but again, the market is what prices it. But no, it's separate. The only thing that controls the price is this and us, the market. You can raise prices. If we don't buy it, you got to lower them. That's why you see sales. Country. I spurn yet. Country. I'm in America. You are India, okay, and I am in Michigan in the U.S. Agreed. Coinbase just joined the S&P 500. Do you think crypto the next financial system? Absolutely not. Crypto is not real. Crypto is another Ponzi scheme. It's like a Madoff. Tell me what Bitcoin looks like. Can you do that? Can I put Bitcoin in my safe? Mm-mm. And can you tell me the value? And it's not money because nobody wants to sell it because everybody who has crypto thinks it's going to $1 million a coin. Why it's called Bitcoin, I don't know. It's not a coin. I was talking to somebody, he refers to digital as like the internet. And I go, but I can see the internet. The internet I can see. I can't see Bitcoin. I can see, let me get my card. I can see this. 1968 Hank Aaron. I can see it. I can hold it. I can put it in my safe and it has a value. And if I want to trade to you, you're going to get this card and you're going to give me a trade for money or gold, which is money. That's how it works. How could I do this digitally? You wouldn't get anything. Well, I got a digital Hank Aaron. Really? And what's it look like? Nothing. But I can tell you what the real one looks like. I think Tom Brady tried to do that scam where he was selling his autograph digitally. Yeah, that went nowhere. It's a Madoff. How do you price it? Is there really 21 million? 21 million of what? There isn't a coin. Crypto does not work unless it's backed by gold. So I was told about Bitcoin. I was playing poker. I don't know, 10 years ago. Maybe it was at $100, $200 coin. So I'm in Caesars and somebody's asking me about Bitcoin. I says, well, what's it backed by? Nothing. I says, then it's worthless. This is worth something because this is what it is. It's a card, but it's Hank Aaron. Is there demand? Yes. Supply is limited if it's in good condition, which this is. And that's where the value comes in. Just like the Mario Lemieux rookie. Is there value? It's because it's Mario Lemieux. If it's Joe Lemieux, there's no value, but Mario is. Good condition rookie card. I can trade money or gold or silver for the card. You get something. What are you getting in Bitcoin? Do you even know you have it? Do you know what it is? You don't know what it looks like because it's not real. It's like buying air. How the hell is it worth 100,000? How is it valued? How do you value nothing? This is the warning. So first of all, it's not accepted everywhere. So let me give you the 5 functions of money. Oh, here it is. Money is a medium of exchange that everyone wants. Does everybody want Bitcoin? No. Does everybody want crypto? No. You couldn't admit to me, I don't want it. It's not real. To be a money, it's got to be portable. Is Bitcoin portable? What if you lose internet? You don't have it, do you? Is it scarce? No. Well, 21 million. 21 million of what? And how do you know there's 21 million? I can tell you the Steve Eiserman card is only one, because one of one. They made one of these cards and it's numbered. I got a card they made one of. I don't know the value because I can't look and see what the others have sold for, because there's only one. How do you know there's 21 million Bitcoin? Because Nakashami said so, which we don't even know who he is. I heard it was a Chinese communist who came up with it. So we don't know if it's scarce, and I don't know that 20. I'm looking at a one card. Do I think 21 million scarce? No. Is it divisible for small exchanges? I have no idea. I guess you can sell bits and pieces of it. Is it fungible? Is it replaceable? I guess. Is it accepted? No, it is not. I don't give a fuck what Michael Saylor says. It is not acceptable. I cannot go on a trip to Europe. I could not pay for it on the plane. The hotel wouldn't take it. The restaurants wouldn't take it. If I went shopping, they wouldn't take it. How the fuck is it money? Right? So it's not accepted by everyone. Is it durable? I don't know. Gold is durable. This is kind of durable, although it rips. And then this is also worthless. But they're durable. But that's what money is, and it fails to qualify. The biggest key is it's not acceptable. I cannot go to the grocery store and use Bitcoin or any other crypto. So to answer the question, you think crypto the next financial system? How? When it's not it's not a medium of exchange, it's not accepted. So if you need to go to Kroger's for food, how are you going to use crypto? They don't take it and they don't want it. So I was in Toyota. I get my oil changed. I sell them football picks for oil changes. So the guy just, whenever I need an oil change, I go in. They're like $100. They're out of their minds. Although I wouldn't go there if they didn't cover it. So I asked the guy, we're talking gold. He loves talking gold and silver with me because he understands. I teach him, so now he understands what's going on. And I said, well, would you take Bitcoin for a car? You're going to sell me a Camry for $35,000. Can I pay you in Bitcoin? Absolutely not. Can I pay you in gold? Right now, you'd have to cash it in for the money, but eventually, yes, once we know gold's value. And I don't know why they wouldn't take gold for the car anyway, especially since we know it's all going high. But again, these are people that don't know what they're talking about. So the sales manager, so I've been trying to get him out of Bitcoin into gold, and he's starting to listen. He says there's this parts company that we get auto parts from. And every day, every night, the guy takes his money, pays the bills, and the rest he buys gold with. Every night he buys gold and silver with. And I said, well, if I was him, I would keep enough out for a month, because I don't want to sell my gold at 3,000. I want to sell it I don't even want to sell it. Gold is not a stock. It's not like you don't profit take gold. The reason is because you have to get out of this, so you buy gold. Gold's your only lifeboat, gold and silver. This is worthless, as is this. These are both worthless. So therefore, I don't want to hold these. So therefore, if I buy gold with them, if I sell my gold, I'm back. I get back and I go back on the Titanic. The boat's sinking. I got off. I'm in the lifeboat. I don't want to get out of the lifeboat and go back into the boat while it's sinking. So there's no profit taking in it. It is not a stock. So you just keep buying. So if you buy too much of it and you don't have any money left, and then you need money, you don't want to cash in your gold at 3,200. You want to cash it in at, you don't want to cash it in, but if you do, you'd rather do it at 10 grand. So you want enough money to hedge the tide until you get the gold. So that's really the key. So I don't know how you could ever make crypto. It's not backed by anything. Maybe if it was backed by gold, but since crypto is fake, I wouldn't want crypto. I'd just give me the gold then. Give me like Profit has gold bars. Just there you go. Profit needs some coins because he doesn't want to have to sell the whole bar at 200,000. This way, you can sell an ounce for 3,000 or 5,000, or a quarter ounce is like 900 now. So that's why you collect all different, tenth of an ounce, quarter, halves, and ounces, depending on what your need is. You don't want to necessarily sell an ounce for $3,000 if you need 800. Then I just want to sell a quarter ounce. When you're buying gold, just buy the gold coins, just buy the Cougarans, the Maple Leafs, the dollars, and I wouldn't really buy the Buffaloes because it's an ounce of gold. I don't know why would I pay more now if it's the same price, the Eagle and the Buffalo. Maybe you want the Buffalo. The difference is Buffaloes are 24 karat and the Eagle's 22 karat, but it doesn't matter. It's got nothing to do with that because it's an ounce of gold. An ounce of gold's an ounce of gold, and therefore, even though what 24 karat means, there's other things mixed in there. Well, we don't care about it as long as there's 1 ounce of gold in the coin. So it's like the coin's like an ounce and a quarter, an ounce of gold and a quarter ounce of silver, nickel, platinum, whatever, copper. But there's an ounce of gold in there. So that's why we do it. Jewelry, be careful. This is 1 ounce, but it's 18 karat. So it's 3/4 of the ounce is gold. The other quarter is the other, as I said, nickel and copper and everything. So that's why when the ounce is 3,200 divided by 4, 816. So this is worth 2,400 right now instead of 3,200. But I paid double what the ounce was. The ounce was 250. I bought this for 5. I'd have been better off for the 5 to buy 2 ounces of gold. So I don't recommend jewelry unless it's your wife or your girlfriend and you buy her something. You'd be better off buying the coins than anything else. You'll get a better value for it. An ounce is an ounce. But this guy was buying like old gold and 1935 or sovereigns or whatever. No, just keep it simple. You're buying gold, and the best way to buy it is coins. And if it says Cougaran 1 ounce or Maple Leaf 1 ounce or Philharmonic, I'm buying an ounce of gold. And that's really the key to it. You just want to buy the gold and collect it. We're not stackers, we're collectors. And I don't stack Mario Lemieux cards, I collect them. And so you just want to keep buying the inventory. And if it gets too expensive, you buy quarter ounces or you buy silver, which is $32 an ounce, which is, I see silver doing what gold's doing, and all of a sudden it'll be 500 an ounce. And you're going to kick yourself if you don't buy it going, yeah, I could have had it at 32 and I'm buying it at 500. I'm an idiot. I mean, 32 is nothing. I mean, I buy 10 ounces a lot. It's $350 because I think it's a $2, a whopping $2 premium. The guys at the stores are clueless. They really have no idea what they're doing or selling it. And I always love when I buy it, I'm like, do you realize how cheap you're selling these for? They don't. They go, well, that's what Comex is. Comex isn't real. It's paper gold, you idiot. But his problem is that's what he needs to sell to pay the rent and the employees. And the whole market uses Comex instead of, there's no other pricing of gold until brics comes out and China and Russia and Dubai start pricing the physical. So enjoy it while you can. Buy the gold and silver off of Comex instead of that. Okay. Tether coin is crypto back with gold, but Bitcoin is bigger. I agree with gold and silver. It preserves your wealth. Well, they can't print gold and silver. That's why. Tether, I don't know what that is. It's crypto back with gold, but is that like an ETF? What happens when the dollar goes out? See, the problem with the tether, you won't get the gold. That's the problem with an ETF. So let's say you buy an ETF and you think, oh, I'll buy, it's worth gold. I bought 50 ounces of ETF. So when I want, I'll get the gold from the ETF. You won't. You won't get an ounce of the gold. It is strictly a paper way of keeping track of the gold price. And it's just like a stock. You will never see an ounce of gold or silver from an ETF. I highly advise against ETFs. I highly advise against gold IRAs where you can't hold the money. If you don't have the gold in your hand, if I don't have this in my hand, that's the only way I want to buy it. So I highly, strongly recommend, if so you're not scammed where you think you're owning gold and you're not, to buy the physical. You go to the coin store, you buy the ounces, you put it in your safe, and that's it. And you're buying it dirt cheap, much cheaper than the real price, and you have it. Nobody can take it away. And that's why I go to Attack on Wall Street, because the guy has 60,000 in a real estate trust, and then the real estate market goes bust because you gave people loans that couldn't afford it, that could never afford the house, and then they're just not paying on the house, they're defaulting on the house. And so these certificates, I guess option type of product, they sold, and the guy bought 60,000 of them because he listened to his financial planner, and the financial planner fucked him. And then the company said, nope, we're not going to do it. Well, that can't happen if you own physical gold. If he knew me in 2008, you would have made money, you wouldn't have lost money, because you would have bought gold and not real estate trust or anything to do with real estate. I mean, I just watched The Big Short, and it's the same thing. These idiots are all clueless. Well, wait, Clinton passed a law in 1997 that says you got to loan money to anybody who wants to buy a house. You cannot say no. Well, this guy's not working. Well, I don't care. He gets a house. I mean, it was like, and then when the interest rates kicked in, is why the housing market crashed, because they're loaning it to people that should never have got it. But Clinton forced them to do the loans. So again, government Madoff's us. But if you have gold, they can't fuck with us. We got the gold. It's in my hand. I got the Lemieux card, not a digital Lemieux card, but I got the actual rookie card. Here it is. Go fuck yourself. I got the card, and there's nothing you can do about it. But if I have an option or a mutual fund or an ETF, I'm fucked. Because when the dollar crashes and the market crashes, I got nothing. Or it could be in gold, and it can never go down because you can't print gold. Ray Dalio just bought 312 million worth of gold ETFs. Did you hear? No, I don't really follow the guy. I think he's an idiot. Just because you're rich does not make you intelligent. And if he bought ETFs instead of physical gold, the guy's an idiot. I think most of those guys do that. I think Warren Buffett and Gates, they're too stupid to know what to do, so they buy ETFs without realizing they're worthless. When the dollar crashes, they're worth zero. And they're not going to get the gold out of it. He can cry all he wants to Sprout, who runs the ETFs, or JP Morgan. I want my physical, and they're just going to laugh at him. There is no physical for it. We don't have the physical. I think it's like 2,000 to 1. So they have 1 ounce of gold, and they do 2,000 ETFs with the 1 ounce of gold. Who do you think is getting the gold? JP Morgan and Sprout, not you. So he's an idiot. I don't like him. It's just like Warren Buffett's an idiot. I don't like him. I mean, Yeah, oh, you're such a good investor. You bought 1,000,000 shares of Coca-Cola and Disney. Wow, aren't you? You're the man. I mean, it's so stupid. Or the buffet indicator. Well, yeah, when the price is so much higher than it's price PE ratio. So there's the price of the stock should be about 25 to the earnings. And some of these are like 300, 200. They're obviously overpriced. You don't need any formula for that. The whole market is just pumped up by the Fed printing money and putting it in the market. Not a really good thing to do. And that's what happens. So that's why you want to buy the physical gold and now physical silver. I'd be loading up the truck to the back door of the warehouse of the store. I go to a jewelry store and just give me what you have. You can't lose on it. It's not going anywhere. But you have to understand the history was JP Morgan is a bullion bank who does the derivatives, who lowers and raises the price of gold and silver. It's price fixed. It's made off. But the variable has changed and that BRICS has come into play. And believe me, China, who has 60,000 tons of gold, Russia with 25,000, India, Saudi Arabia, all with a lot of gold, want the gold price to go up. They want to bankrupt they don't want to bankrupt the US, but they want the US to bankrupt themselves, which we're doing a good job of. Nobody buys the T-bills anymore because you're 37 trillion in debt. You're not getting paid. So why would I want to spend $1 million or $1 billion on your treasuries that you're not going to pay me for? Because you can't, because you're 37 trillion in the hole. Why would anybody buy a T-bill? So the only one that buys the T-bills are the Fed, which means basically we're buying it from ourselves. So if I'm selling this and I want $5,000 for it and nobody buys it, then I go buy it from myself. I'm an idiot, right? I can't buy it from myself. Once you do that, it's bullshit. It's stupid. And they call it a banana republic where basically there's no control. It's broke. We are broke, the US. So what do? And I included in the Titanic that I say is the boat's sinking. You hit the iceberg, the water's coming in, the boat's sinking. You need to find a lifeboat, and that's gold and silver. The dollar's sinking, it's worthless. You need to find a lifeboat, and that's the gold and silver. I mean, I'm sorry, with the Titanic, you just find a lifeboat. In money, it's gold and silver because they can't print it. And all the paper is printed and printed, and they add big government. And it's all because they're Keynesians who believe in communism, socialism, where the government prints the money and the government runs the market, and the government can't run the market. Only we can run the market. That's why the US has been successful, but they're moving to socialism and communism because that's what they're teaching in the schools, that nobody can figure that out. So they like not working and getting money. Only it doesn't work. You got to work to get the money. It's just the only way. And then when you do get the money, you got to realize this is worthless because you've printed too much. That's the key. You printed 150 trillion of these things because you were on the petrodollar and you were on all this FX stuff, which everybody's getting off of. China now trades with Russia without first. It used to be China buys US dollars. They then sell the US dollars for rubles if they want to buy something from Russia. That's gone now. China goes and sells to Russia. China goes and sells to Brazil. China goes and sells to India. Russia goes with Iran. Russia goes to, they don't need oil from Saudi Arabia. Russia goes to Brazil and Mexico and all these countries. So they're bypassing the dollar. All these dollars are out there, and now they're not being used. So it's again, inflation's printing the money. It's not prices. That's just bullshit. That's Keynesian. And yet everybody goes, oh, well, the inflation's down to 3%. You're like, what an idiot. Who is this idiot saying that? Usually I lose it when I hear these guys who are supposedly sharp. And they say, well, inflation's down to 3%. Negative, you're an idiot. Go get a job, get a real job. Stop, get off of YouTube. That's the problem, right? Nobody understands it. It's printing the money, and you've printed out so much because you had to print the FX for everybody and the petrodollar, which is no longer. You had to buy Saudi oil with the dollar, not Russian oil and not these others. And therefore, now they'll take anything. The Saudis will take, they take China. China is the biggest buyer of oil for Saudi Arabia. They're paying in yuan. They're not paying in US dollars. So there is no petrodollar, but all those dollars have to come home. And then you're going to have the stock market crash, because once people realize when I'm telling you that the dollar's worthless, they're going to want to get out of the dollar. Well, what does the other countries do? They think the U.S. is safe haven. So they go and they buy stock, they buy houses, and they buy bonds to be in U.S. dollars. And banks. Now they realize, shit, 37 trillion in debt. I'm fucked. I got to get out of U.S. dollars. So I'm a German and I got $1 million in stock, and I realize it's in US dollars. I dump the portfolio, bring it back to Germany. So the stock market's going to tank, take the $1 million, and I'm going to buy gold and silver with it because I don't have any other choice. There is no other lifeboat out there to use. So once the lights start going on and people start realizing they're all fucked, you're being made off. Just like, oh, I didn't know Bernie was screwing me, and oh, I'm broke and I have to give up my house, and oh, come on, really? You're getting 15%, especially in 2000 when the dot-com bubble burst and the stock market dropped, and you're still getting your 15%, and you don't figure that out? I mean, come on. If everybody's giving me 4% and Madoff's 15, how come nobody else is giving me 15? And I never lose. I mean, are you that stupid? It's like picking a football game and you pick them all. You pick 100%. You can't do it. There's going to be injuries, interceptions, too many variables in the game. What should happen and what actually does are two different things. So how could you possibly do that? And how can you be this stupid to not do it and then not see the housing crisis coming, saying, yeah, I better pull my money out of Madoff. I've been taking all this Ponzi scheme, but I see the housing crisis coming. And so let me get out now. So if you didn't do those things, you deserve to lose your money. And, I trusted Madoff. It's the SEC didn't report on Madoff and said he was okay because they didn't do their job. You know why they didn't do their job? Because they were in on it. They were paid off to do it. That's why they never responded to anything. I was watching that on Tubi the other day, and the guy who figured it out, the financial guy who said you can't have a straight line up, he was disappointed in himself because he never warned people that it was a Ponzi scheme. He should have warned people instead of trying to nail Madoff, because you weren't going to nail him. It's like trying to nail JP Morgan for price fixing gold and silver. He's in charge. He's not going to put himself in jail. They run the government, the banks, the mafia runs the banks run the government. They're not going to put themselves in jail. So you can't do that. You've got to just try to, like I'm doing now. Hey, gold's price fixed, buy gold, buy silver if you want to survive. I'm not going to JP Morgan and trying to, get myself killed by saying, hey, you're price fixing. Well, fuck, he knows he's price fixing and nobody's going to do a damn thing about it. So your other option is to do what I'm doing and saying, hey, I want to help you get the fuck out of dollars, go buy gold and silver, and just be patient. Just lay back and enjoy the flight, because we're about to go to the moon. That's what he was mad he didn't do that. And I agree. I don't know what the fuck the guy was doing. How stupid are you? Obviously, the SEC was in on it. Are you? And JP Morgan, of course, they're in on all the scams. How are you this stupid that you couldn't figure that out? Jeez, I kept going to the SEC. I kept going to the SEC with these things and they ignored it. Well, of course. Jesus, what an idiot. So, yeah, did I feel bad for the people? No, because they should have been smart enough to know what they were doing. Somebody asked me about Madoff. My brother-in-law, he's a doctor, and he says, I got this thing that's paying up a big percent. And I just got my master's. So this would be in the mid-90s. And he says, I'm getting 10% or whatever. And I looked at him like, no, you're not. You can't get 10%. You can get, the banks are doing 3 or 4%. No, I'm getting 10. Well, how are you getting 10? oh, I guess it's strip malls or something. And do you want to get in? I had, hell no. If it's 4%, how do you get 10? And that's why I usually never get burnt, or very rarely get burnt in finance. Some guy asked me, and how much money did you lose in 2008? I said none. I already know the market is made off. The whole market is bullshit. I don't play the market. The only play I had was gold. I would buy gold in the morning and sell it I'd buy it at 10:30 and sell it by 4 every day. I made a lot of money, but it was in and out. It was never buy and hold. You'll lose your ass for sure with doing that strategy. Thanks for your thoughts. Have a good night, bro. Well, Eli, pleasure. Come back. I'm usually on around this time. But happy to share the knowledge. Back to baseball. See, that's what I mean. He's asking the question. I'm answering the question directly. Not like the phone didn't have to ring for Mark McGuire to answer it. What an idiot. All right. We left off at Detroit, St. Louis over 8. 2 bad pitchers. We should get runs. Philly goes to Colorado. Philly minus 250 and 10. Christopher Sanchez 4 with the 291. Kyle Freeland 0-6. Yeah, you got to go Philly. We'll make it 3 stars, 3 units. Even though it's a big number at 250, you still got to play it. They're not hitting enough to go over, although it looks like they started to hit, so we'll see what they do tonight. But Sanchez with the 291, it's too hard to go over with him. Kansas City and the 49ers, Frisco minus 137.5. Chris Bubik, 4-2 with a 166 for KC. Robbie Road, Rays 6-0. We're going under here. The other team's really hitting. Frisco under 7.5. We'll go 2 units. I'll review everything because I know we're interrupted in the middle. California plays Oakland. California just swept the Dodgers. Oakland got, I think, swept by whoever they played. Oakland minus 149.5. Jose Soriano 2-4 with the 3.46. JT Ginn 1-1 with the 4.61. Well, Oakland, California is really hot. Oakland can hit. Sorry, not answering. California 3.46. Oakland 1-1 with the 4.61. Pretty high areas. Oakland. Yeah, we'll go over 9.5 with Oakland. I'm not sold on California yet, but they're very similar, 20 and 25, 22, 20. They're getting better, as you can see by sweeping the Dodgers. I don't like Oakland's pitching, 461 against Soriano with the 346. I kind of think California wins. They're hot. They swept the Dodgers, but we'll go over in the game. And, of course, California will win 3-0. In the last game, Arizona goes to the Dodgers. The Dodgers 145-10. This is a huge hitting series. Brandon Pfaadt, 6-3 with the 3.73. Landon Knack, 2-1 with the 5.89. I'm shocked that the Dodgers are a 145 favorite. Brandon Pfaadt with the 3.73. 6-3 with the 3.73. Landon Knack, 2-1 with the 5.89. I just don't see how the Dodgers are favored here. We're going to go over 10. And I'll go 2 units on that game. So let's review. The Cubs over 9. Pittsburgh under 8. The Mets under 9. Tampa Bay. Minnesota. Milwaukee over 9. Seattle under 8. Detroit under 8. Philadelphia. Or no, Detroit's over 8. Philadelphia. Frisco under 7.5. Oakland over 9.5. And Arizona over 10. The bets, take Milwaukee over 9, 2 units. Take Philadelphia. Take the 49ers under 7.5. And take Arizona over 10. They're all 2 units. Philadelphia is going to be 3, I think. They're playing Colorado. It'd probably be low scoring, I would think. So that's today in baseball. I'll have to update my list so I keep track of hitters, right? So the Yankees have 4 good hitters and 3 bad hitters. And I'm just playing with new theories to try to figure out what will help us the best. Baseball is very difficult. You got incredibly stupid managers that don't know the pitcher goes 5 innings or 6 innings. He's got a shutout going. He's pitched 85 innings, 85 pitches. He takes them out. Why? We're saving him what? So when he goes free agent to another team, we're saving him for the other team. Look at Verlander. Detroit, Houston, the Mets, Houston, San Francisco, Houston. Well, what are you saving him for? Frisco saving him for Houston? I mean, just let him go. Let him go 8 innings as long as he can go. But the problem is the pitching's their mindset now is 100 pitches. If I was a manager, I would have a 4-man rotation and you'd be pitching 8 innings. If you're having a good outing, you're staying in there. If you get tired, you better work out. But I'm not doing 5-inning crap. That's not what the game is. I don't have enough good pitchers to go 5 innings and then struggle to find 3 or 4 relievers today and then 3 or 4 different relievers tomorrow. That means I got to have 8 relievers that are good. You're not going to find 8 pitchers that are any good. The league sucks. The pitching sucks. Way too many minor league pitchers out there. The whole thing's just stupid. Oh, I love how they call it now. He's got a turn the ball or whatever. All right. So, Spinnery, you got everything? Oh, no, you're from that. Eli. So you got everything. Okay. Eli's new. Prophet, you're Canadian. We'll forgive you, David. So that's baseball. There's no basketball today. I believe it's tomorrow.